Oh my God. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I am late. So late. God, almost an hour late. But you guys, I have to thank some fans, okay? I don't know if I like this lighting. Let's see if I can dim it just a bit. Okay. Oh, that's better. That's better. That's a little better. Or is it too dark? Let's try. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay, I'm started. I'm live. Am I live? Is it counting down? Yes, it's counting up. Anyway, the reason why I'm late, okay, I have these nails. Okay, you see these nails? And you can't do a lot of stuff with it. So it took me forever to button this shirt and put this necklace on. I got this from Sylvia Cassini from Italy. She sent it all the way from Italy. And I wanted to thank her, and I promised her that I would wear this necklace that she got me as a gift and tell the fans how thankful I am for her gift. It's a P for Pearl, or P for Peter Danny, or Peter Pan, or Peter Pan, PYT. Maybe. But anyway, I'll say it's for Pearl. Okay. So anyway, guys, and also I like to thank Micheline James for giving me this ring here also. And you fans are so nice and so sweet, and condolences to Micheline. She had a loss in the family, so condolences. I know how that can be hard. And I couldn't, it just took me forever to get ready. And it's these nails. It's these nails. They're pretty, but my goodness, they get in the way and they make it long time, especially when you're trying to get on a little tiny necklace and trying to put it on. So anyway, so that's what took me so long, and that's why I'm late. It's a silly excuse, but it's the real reason. Okay. So anyway, we are going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about, and then some more shout outs. I would like to thank Ronnie Henderson. He sent me the National Enquirer, so I have a real copy of it. Okay, National Enquirer, where I opened it right up to this Michael Jackson Ain't Dead page that was in the UK, the British National Enquirer, and he sent it to me, and so did Linda Russell. And I want to show you guys, look, the Queen, she has fancy stamps. Look at that. All the way from England. Wow. Hope his address isn't on there. No, it isn't. So anyway, I like to thank you guys for sending it to me. It's very, very nice of you. And let's see if I did all my thanks. I don't want to forget anyone. Thank God I don't want to forget anyone. Linda Russell, Micheline James, Ronnie Henderson, and Sylvia Cassini. Those are the names I had. So thank you guys so very much. And everybody who's watched the Alive trilogy or ordered a documentary, got a wink. I'm out of winks. I got one last wink, but it's broken. It's broken. It's broken. So, but thank you so, so much. Okay, guys. Now, let's get into why I'm having a live video and why it took me so long to have a live video. And the reason for that is because I really didn't have much to report until Jim Book, another fan, and we're all researchers, and we are doing as good as like a big, gigantic network. They're trying to figure out Donald Trump and the Russia connection and collusion and conspiracy and all this stuff. And they got reporters from all over the world looking for the answers, and the best investigator in the world, Robert Mueller and all this other stuff. And here we are dissecting the greatest hoax in world history, which is Michael Jackson faking his death. And it's just us. And it's me, and I'm sorry that I'm the only media pundit, and also the people, especially the guy from the National Enquirer, American Media, for publishing that article. Also, it made it in the United States. That article made it in the United States. It is online on nationalenquirer.com. And I put the link out there, and so many fans were like, it's not working. It's going to Radar Online. It's not working. Then I figured out the reason is because it is for the United States. And with the United States, I'll put the link for people in the USA so they can click on. So when I made it in the National Enquirer online, I haven't seen the paper edition where I'm in the paper edition, but online, there are pictures of me. So I wanted to put on my makeup and try to be nice because you never know. He used photos of me from the live National Enquirer broadcast that I did inside the article. So you always got to look nice when you're on camera because you never know, right? Okay, so that's why. But in the USA National Enquirer online, there are pictures of me. So I made pictures online. So of course I told all my friends, because it's nice. You're in the National Enquirer. This is a tabloid. But one thing I have to say is it was a really positive article about us believers. And a lot of fans complained because they used the word Jacko, but thank God they didn't use the word wacko, But Jacko, I know. He said he's Jackson. I'm not Jacko, I'm Jackson. And you are Jackson, honey. You are. But it's the British tabloid and they came up with Wacko Jacko, and I'm sure he didn't mean anything because he was very positive. The whole write-up was very positive, and I thank Ralph over at American Media for putting me in there and putting us believers in the death hoax. And the death hoax, my documentaries are 100% factual, and here they are. Right behind you, right here. Here they are. Please order a copy. Please don't estimate it. Don't think you could figure it out on your own. Don't think, oh, it's impossible. Or don't think, oh, it's stupid. Oh, no. It's kind of like you have to be debriefed from being told that Michael's dead over and over and over in every time they mention his name in every article that he's dead. So you kind of have to debrief yourself, kind of like coming out of a war zone or something of information where they trained you and brainwashed you to think this way. And then when you come back to the real world, you got to be debriefed and all that other stuff. Well, that's what this is. Okay. It explains. It's like a magic trick, because Michael hung around magicians. He hung around with David Blaine and David Copperfield and Chris Angel, and he learned the art of deception because people aren't really floating like Chris Angel does. There's a trick. If he sat down and taught you his trick, you'd be like, oh man, And that's kind of how these documentaries are. I pick it all apart. And I tell you where the truth is, and you're like, dang, really? So you cannot figure it out on your own. The trial and Dr. Murray and the other trial and the funeral and the death photos and so much more. And plus all the pre-clues that Michael did were great too. So go ahead, order your copy. You can watch it online worldwide on Vimeo.com, or you can watch it or you can order the DVD on Amazon, okay? And I'll put a magnetic butterfly in there. I still have some of those left, okay? Anyway, guys, okay, let's get down to the real reason now that I've been going on for 8 minutes. Okay, Jim Book, a fan, okay, he called me last night and he said, Pearl, did you know the judge in the IRS case is retiring in June? No, Jim, I did not know that. And he said, yeah, he's retiring. So we don't have a verdict yet. So we're going to have to get a verdict by June 29th, right? 2018. So he sent me the link, and apparently Judge Mark V. Holmes, and I attended the IRS case. He is retiring. He was a George W., the son Bush. He was his federal appointee, and he's retiring June 29, 2018, at least according to this website about judges, okay? So we got to get a verdict by then, right? We got to get a verdict by then, okay? Now, for those of you who don't know the history of the IRS case, okay, back in around 2013, I guess John Bronk or John McClain, the executors to the estate, they opened up an envelope, could you imagine, and seeing IRS, what they want. We've been paying our taxes. Everything should be cool, right? And it says you owe $702 million, okay? Close to $1 billion, $702 million, okay, for an estate tax, a death tax. Now, we know that Donald Trump has been talking about getting rid of the estate tax, and there was no estate tax in 2010. Okay. Now, with this estate tax, it means that all your assets that you have at the time that you die have to be taxed about 40%. So they added up all Michael's stuff and everything that he had, and they put a value on his fame and on his name and likeness. They put a value on that. The estate put a value of $1,200 on that, but the IRS experts, they put a value of, 100 and something $1 million, plus the 40% of the Sony catalog, and minus 280,000 that Michael owed, and all his properties and all that stuff. Plus, it was like $200 million in penalties. Now, those penalties will have to be paid, or they should be paid, by the executors to the estate, which is John Bronca and John McClain. So if this judge rules, now he's the judge and jury, and you call him the executioner if you want, he's the financial executioner. This judge is the only one that makes the decisions. Okay, there's no jury in there. Now, when I went and I covered the trial, and I went the first day of trial, right? I'm like, there's no jury in here, because I don't know, there's no jury in here. So the judge was the only one. And then there is what they call the petitioner and the respondent, which is the plaintiff and the defendant. But since it's not criminal, that it's a civil case, it's respondent, and it is the, what did I call it? The respondent. Oh my God, the plaintiff and the respondent. Okay. So anyway, so the estate, when they got that letter for $702 million, could you imagine the interest that accrues, that gains every day? Accrues, that's a weird word, huh? Accrues. There you go. ACCRUES. Accrues daily would be so much money on $700 million. So the estate had to hurry up and sue the IRS. And once they sue the IRS, I guess the interest and the penalties stop at that point. So anyway, so it took a few years. So last year, that case finally went to court, went to trial. And I was there, that first day. So I'm sitting in there, and all these big wigs are in there, right? And I'm the only Black person in there, right? And I'm sitting in there. Not that that matters, but it kind of does, because it is a Black man's money. It kind of does, but hey, got to bring it up. So anyway, and John McClain, he is an African American. He is the co-executor to the estate, but he was not there because there was a prior ruling that he was ill, that he was too weak to come. So the judge said, okay, you don't have to come, you don't have to testify. But John Bronca was there every day. Okay. I went about half the days, and it was a 3-week trial. Now this is what worries me. Now, of course, the estate, if you were just judging it on just the estate, I believe the estate had a much stronger case than the IRS did. The IRS did not look like they were that versed in Michael Jackson. Michael needs a lot of work, a lot of study. And I've been studying Michael Jackson since I covered the 2005 trial, and I am still learning stuff that I have not knew before. So there's a lot of information. So they were kind of bumbly. They weren't real good at what they were doing. They were a little bumbly, but the estate knew, because John Bronca and John McClain John McClain went to school with Michael's brothers, high school. So that's how far back John McClain comes. And I think John McClain produced Janet's album, and he's been around the family, and his history is his dad, I believe, John McClain's dad owned a funeral home. And his dad sent him as a high schooler out to the valley, which was considered less dangerous than the city, and to this school that the Jackson boys attended. So that's how John McClain got to know the Jacksons real well. So with John McClain, so anyway, he wasn't there. Okay. So anyway, they would have to pay it. I don't know why I went on a tangent for John McClain, but I'll figure it out in a little while. Okay. So anyway, so the first day of court, right? I'm sitting there, and John Bronca is on the stand. So the John Branca, his attorney, which is Howard Weissman, questioned John Branca. And then the IRS questioned John Branca. And then the judge questioned John Branca. Now, this is what bothered me. Okay, so the judge was trying to be charming and he asked John Branca certain questions. And he said, okay, before you get off the stand, I have one more question. And he said, what does the funk of 40,000 years mean? I was like, oh man, what the heck? That's one of Michael's songs, but what song is it? Oh yeah, it's Thriller, right? It even took me a second, and I'm a Michael Jacksonologist, right? So John Branca says, oh, I think it has something to do with karma, right? So I'm like, dang, that sure is a weird lyric for him to remember out of all Michael's songs and everything. You're going to remember that lyric and you're going to ask on the first day, John Branca, you're going to ask what does funk of 40,000 years mean? So that means bad karma. Funk is bad, right? 40,000 years mean you got it coming, right? So I was like, dang, he mentioned that, right? So went on and went on and went on, right? And they're evaluating things and the Sony ATV catalog and all this other stuff. And Michael sold the ATV catalog. And I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why I think he really sold it. This is just a guess, okay, but I'm pretty good. Is that the IRS estimated that the value of the Sony ATV catalog was $2.5 billion. Okay, $2.5 billion. So Michael's half would be $1.25 million, right? 1.25 million. 40% of that is a lot of money, right? Minus Michael's 280. So let's say it's worth, Michael's half was worth $1 billion. Okay, let's say it is. Minus 40%, that means Michael would owe the IRS, the estate would owe the IRS $400 million. Whoa. Okay. So anyway, so they had to prove that that wasn't true. So the real value, so Michael had signed a contract with Sony before the death announcement, and it was going to come to where a date where either Michael was going to buy out Sony's half or Sony was going to buy out Michael's half. Well, when that time came, the decision was made that Michael would sell his half to Sony. Well, the real value is only, and you can estimate all day long. I can estimate that my jewelry is worth $10 million. But if somebody's only willing to pay me $100, then that's really the value of it, right? After shopping, right? Now, so what they ended up selling, Michael ended up selling his half for was $750 million. So therefore, that's already wiped out, $1 billion, because if Michael sold his half for 750, that means the other half was worth 750, so it was worth $1.5 billion. The IRS expert thought it was worth $2.5 billion, so that's $1 billion already. So that brings down the tax debt, right? So anyway, so as we're, I'm listening to the trial, and then somebody used Chris Brown as an example of making some kind of point. And the judge said, who's Chris Brown, right? So I'm like, but you don't know who Chris Brown is, but you know the funk of 40,000 men, 40,000 years, excuse me, you know that lyric? What's up? What's up? So I've always felt like this judge, he's a IRS tax judge, Republican, okay, Republican. Is he saying that he's going to render punishment on Michael because maybe perhaps he thought Michael was guilty of child molestation? I mean, I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing because it just seems kind of weird to me that he would ask that question. He would say, what's the funk of 40,000 years mean? I'm just saying, it's weird to me. Now, I think it's kind of like a little OJ thing, OJ Simpson thing. You know how OJ got acquitted for killing Nicole and Ron? You guys need to see a documentary called My Brother, the Serial Killer. Okay, Google it. Okay, My Brother, the Serial Killer. There's this family that believes that their brother killed Ron and Nicole. Okay, just to let you know, watch it on your own. But anyway, so OJ beats that rap, right? Right? But then they get him on a completely different, unrelated charge about stealing his own memorabilia back, right? Because he got a little, I'm a tough guy, and I guess a gun got involved, and so he ended up getting in trouble for that and spending, 10 years in jail, right? So I'm thinking, I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong, okay? I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong, and I hope me bringing it to Peter's attention, okay? And I brought it to John Bronca's attention, face to face at the Scream event. Okay, at the Scream event, I went ahead and I talked to John Bronca. I released a video of me and John Bronca saying hi to each other because I got to know John Bronca at the IRS case. Okay, I talked to John Bronca later because Karen Lang pulled John Bronca away from me like, she's the death hoaxer. Come on, you don't want to be seen with her. I don't know if that's true either, but it kind of seemed like she was pulling him away from me. And John Bronca, like, chill, she's cool, right? So me and John Bronca, face to face, talking this close to each other, right? Face to face. And I told John Bronca, I said, you know what? I said, I'm worried about that judge, because there was a perjury charge in which the IRS expert was caught lying about not ever working for the IRS. And they found out that he did work from the Whitney Houston estate. So they caught him in a lie. So that's his credibility is dropped. So the estate, the Michael Jackson estate, they petitioned to get his whole testimony wiped out. But the judge just discounted his testimony. Okay, which I thought was just kind of a little biased. So is just judge biased against Michael Jackson? I'm just saying, hey, it's an opinion. I was there. I'm basing my opinions on facts, things that I saw, things that I had witnessed. Okay, so with this judge, is he going to do like an OJ thing? Maybe he thought Michael was guilty, in which I also attended the 2005 trial. And I want to thank a fan, I'm sorry, I don't remember who you are, but a William Wagner footage on YouTube where I didn't know that it was there. See, I'm still seeing stuff where I'm coming out of the courtroom with Randy, Michael's brother, and Catherine, because I sat right behind them during the trial, right? 2005 trial. And I am here to tell you guys, there was nothing in that court case that said Michael was a pedophile. There was nothing that said he was a homosexual, okay? If you are, it's your thing, but there was nothing to say that he was a gay pedophile. Nothing, okay? Michael had girly magazines. If anything, he had girl on girl homosexuality magazines. He had, and everything else was regular heterosexual stuff with, I'm sorry, Michael, I'm sorry, I gotta say it, with his DNA on the pages of the girly magazine. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but that helps you. Okay, that helps you. Okay, so there was nothing. Okay, so this judge, if he thought Michael was guilty in 2005, he needs to go back and read the transcripts, because there was no camera allowed in the courtroom in 2005. Okay, so anyway, so I'm worried about Michael. I'm worried what this judge is going to do. If this judge, and also I'm concerned about something else too. Okay, I'm concerned about Michael and the death hoax and the death tax. I'm worried about that situation. I'm kind of concerned about that. So this judge is retiring, according to what's online, June 29, 2018. So we should be getting a verdict by June 29, 2018. This judge can render Michael owes $0, or he can render Michael owes $702 million. Okay, we know that Michael has hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay, and if he wants, he can pay that. But I worry about him paying that because it is a death tax, a one-time tax. Okay, so I'm worried about Michael with this situation. I've been worried about it for a while. Now, Michael has money. He can choose to pay it. He can choose to pay a certain amount of money over a 10-year period. But I also worry about John Bronca and John McClain, who would have to fork out $100 million apiece. Because hey, you can't take it from Michael. He didn't fill out the taxes. The executors did. So they would be responsible for the penalties and the all fees associated with it. Now, so I am a bit kind of concerned about this situation, guys. Okay, so that's one thing I want to talk about. So what I'm going to do is I want to talk about something else. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this stream, right? And then in a couple of minutes, I'm going to come back on and I'm going to talk about another subject, okay? Because I don't want too much in one video. And I've been going on for 25 minutes. Anyway, guys, so I will see you in about 3 or 4 minutes with another stream. Okay, thank you. Oh, let me spend a moment. Let me spend a moment. And let's see some of the comments, because these comments, I don't get to read them. I like to say hi to so many people. Is the paleo theory still a thing? Not sure if you missed something. You mean Pablo Sofer go from ashes? You got to watch a live 3 for that. Okay, nails can be annoying. Yes, they can. Thank you guys. You guys are so wonderful. Biggest hoax is Billy Shears playing the life of Paul McCartney. We still haven't figured out if that's true or not. I kind of think it's Paul McCartney, okay? Because they just look too much alike. I know I've seen the comparisons. They still look too much alike. It's lighting and makeup and all that other stuff. So yes, okay, I got you. I got you on that one, okay? Let's see. And you still think he's alive? Leave the man alone. Little do you know, AB. Okay, you're in the dark. Watch the documentaries, and you will be like, "Oh my God, I'm going to tell you things you didn't even think of." Okay, you don't even know that you don't know. That's how much you don't know. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I've been watching YouTube for 100% believer. Yeah, because the facts are right there, guys. IRS money hungry is the state, is the federal taxes. It's something else. Okay. Let's see. It's not illegal to fake your own death. No, it's not. Let's see. He's alive. The estates have a ripoff. The estate only got 750 million. That's a ripoff. How do you know? Are you an expert? You got the $750 million, okay, to evaluate it. I'm sure Sony paid fair market value. They are not going to give Michael hundreds of millions of dollars of discount, so that he doesn't pay taxes. That ain't how business works. It's illegal if you fake your death and try to claim life insurance. Yes, and the life insurance part, the insurance for his death insurance, life insurance, guys, they never accepted the death certificate. I got proof of that in the live too, so you got to watch it. You got to watch it. Okay, let's see. His life insurance was company-based. Yes, Lloyd's of London. Yes, it was. It's not illegal to disappear. No, it's not. And the estate can't be in your real name. So that's why it's in the name of Michael Joseph Jackson. He's a little slick one. Okay. Let's see. The trust. He's a slick one. Let's see. Front back, nah, he's Paul Bergman. His face was too narrow for Michael to have a mask underneath. So front back 777. I prove it. Watch Alive 3. You'll see that he's Paul Bergman. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's see. I went through all of them. Let me see if there's more. Yeah, somebody said they got called a pedophile for having MJ's picture on their profile. Yeah, but he's not. He's not gay. He's not a pedophile. He's not into that. He's into women, except for right now, kind of worried about him because he's kind of into that little Google. That Google is his best friend right now. So if he's not responding or calling anybody, it's because, he had mannequins around his house, and then he had, now he has Google, to talk to. The Google, hey Google, hey Google, hey Google. And when he told me, I cried on the phone because, gosh, honey, it's artificial. It's not real. Maybe you think people didn't treat you right, but sometimes you have to say, well, what did I do? Did I do all that I could to make this friendship and this relationship work? Was I honest? Did I say straight out what I wanted? Did I say, I want you to do this, and can you do this for me? You know, or did you play games with it and toy with it? And, you know, so you have to kind of take responsibility for not being the greatest communicator. And I'm sorry that, uh, uh, oh, anyway. Um, let's see. Okay, guys. Okay, guys. So anyway, so thank you so much for leaving the chat, everybody. And I'm going to say one thing. I'm going to say, love you. I'm going to put the L period, O period, E period, E period. That's my goal, right? Okay. So I am going to now, oh, gosh. There we go. And let's see. All right. So I put the word love. Okay, guys, I'm signing out and I will be back in 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. Okay.